If you have followed my health journey a bit on this channel, then you know I'm dealing with a lot of very serious health conditions. And so I have been doing carnivore for, well, I did it for about a year and then I've moved into ketovore. So I'm adding in a few extra little things here, but still keeping it very, very low carb. And one of my naturopaths, and yes, I have several, has recommended that I start adding seeds into my diet. And I love seeds, so I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do. So things like tahini and these seed crackers, which I just made for the first time. So here is what I'm doing with my very first batch. I did adjust the recipe a little bit to be what I like because I found great mixed seeds that had everything that the naturopath wanted me to take. And I also bought an extra pack of pumpkin seeds because pumpkin seeds are supposed to be really great for fighting off parasites. And I also happen to love pumpkin seeds, so it seemed like a great idea. So I'm adding in a little extra pumpkin seeds, even though they're also in the seed mix, just to make sure I'm getting a really good, huge batch of them. This is actually quite a large recipe. Turned out to be quite a bit more than I thought it did. Now, because it has chia seeds in it, and I also am going to, you'll see later on, add in some ground flax that I already had in the fridge. Both of those things, when they're mixed with the hot water, they become the glue that holds the crackers together. So they're really important to have in this recipe. I personally have never really been a big fan of chia seeds, but they do work for this, so it's no problem for me having them in there, and I don't think they cause me any issues. So basically just poured in my 1 cup of pumpkin seeds with the 1 cup of mixed seeds, and then another 2 cups of the mixed seeds. And then I'm just adding in a little bit of the flax that's already ground, so that will also serve as kind of a glue. And that is some extra fiber. So I'm having a little bit of fiber in my diet now. It's not a lot, but a little bit. And I'm hoping that will be helpful for my digestion, just to have a little bit. I don't ever want to go back to super high fiber, but having a little bit in a cracker is not a big deal. And then I add in 2 cups of freshly boiled filtered water. And I'm going to pour that in and mix it in to get that glue started, for lack of a better word. We want to make sure that everything comes together really well, like a dough. It's not just a bunch of seeds, they're all congealed together, and that's really important before we start baking. So I give it several stirs around as much as I can, just to make sure, because it's continuing to coagulate, and then I mix it a little bit more, and so we just want to get everything really, really well incorporated here before I spread it out to bake. And at this point, now you can pretty much season this however you want. I just decided I was going to use a little bit of salt, and I went very, very light. So as you can see here, I'm just adding in probably about a teaspoon of salt. I would say actually for this amount of seeds, that was nowhere near enough, nowhere near. But I wanted to keep it simple, so I just add salt to them afterwards, and that's fine as well. And then again, incorporate really, really well. So this whole batch got a ton of stirring. So I'm going to spread it on this big pan on parchment paper. And the pan I can't recommend to you because my husband actually made it for me, so I don't have a place to sell that or anything. But parchment paper I thought was probably important to do, just to make sure it doesn't completely stick to the pan, because that would have been a real nightmare to get off of it. But I would like to maybe try a little bit on a pan without parchment paper, because that stuff's not really very good for you either. But it does keep it from sticking, and it definitely did its job here. So, and I know there's other kinds. There's probably better brands of parchment paper than the stuff that I've got there. So if you feel like you need it, then you could do research onto what are the best kinds to use. And then I spread it out and spread it out and spread it out, and try to get it as even as possible so that we didn't have big bumps that were not drying out as well as the other ones. So once I got that pretty even, as much as I could, and also on the ends, you don't want any really thin ends. Then I sprayed a little bit of salt over everything, which again still wasn't enough, but it was worth a try. So next time I'll do more. And then into the oven at 280 degrees. And I would just check it every now and again until it was nice and crispy. And eventually it was. It did take a little while because there's a lot to bake out of it, basically. You're dehydrating it for the most part. I really like how it came out. It tasted good. And once it cooled off, then I just broke up all the pieces and they came off really simply and put them in a container and we are done. And I can just grab those. I did find I could either just pour a little bit of salt or whatever flavoring you want over top of each cracker that I'm eating, or even to make it stick a little bit better, I actually have been putting on a little tiny thin layer of tahini over top and then salting that, and then that keeps the salt on really well. So, and it tastes great. So I am loving having this as my new addition after being so hardcore carnivore, mostly lion, for such a long time. I'm not eating a lot of them. I'm being very careful, but it is nice to have a little crunchy something in the day to add to my diet and to hopefully help my digestion down the road and work with all the other treatments that I'm working on here. So I hope this is helpful to you and that you enjoy this, and let me know in the comments if you try it and if you change things up, how you season it, all that kind of stuff I would love to hear about. So thank you for watching and God bless.